Wait, how did World Mental Health Day, a day meant for empathy, awareness, and reflection, turn into a highlight reel? It's supposed to be about connection and not perfection, about saying you're not alone, not look how happy we are. When you pair a glamorous romantic video with a caption that's meant to sound heartfelt, it starts feeling tone deaf, not because joy is wrong but because the timing and tone shift the focus away from the message. World Mental Health Day isn't about personal branding, it's about compassion. It's about checking in with people who don't feel okay, the ones who need to hear that their struggle doesn't make them broken. When awareness becomes aesthetic, the meaning gets lost. And that's the real problem. Not the video itself, but what it says about how easily empathy can be turned into PR. Let's talk about all this and more, but before we get into it, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. Welcome back, everyone. On yesterday's live, we went through a couple clips of Megan's post that she made on World Mental Health Day, and we broached the topic kind of superficially. I wanted to do a separate video really explaining what it is that sits wrong with me about this whole thing and how this can be translated into things you may have experienced in your own day to day life. Once the clip of the live stream is done playing, we'll come back and we'll talk about what it is about this that really sits wrong with me, what narcissistic traits we're actually seeing in this whole thing, and finally, how we can turn awareness into empowerment. So without further ado, here is that live stream clip. Okay, everyone, I'm sorry. I'm going to jump into that video clip and about World Mental Health Day. I want to talk with all of you about why I think it's really weird and I want to find out from all of you why you think it's really weird. So let me hide that comment. Okay. So this is the clip and Megan posted this. Clearly she's wearing the outfit that she wore on what night was that? I lose. Was it Thursday night? I don't remember. And I mean, as always, Megan is center frame, even though this is supposed to be a dedication to her husband, right? We'll talk about the appropriateness of the footage also going along with this happy World Mental Health Day. But as usual, if we let's clip that out. Let's say this was a Valentine's post. It totally could be. It's supposed to be a dedication to her husband. But at the end, here, I put these two together. If you wait till the very end, he's not even in the clip. The last set, look, he's not even there at the end. She's full frame. She's in the center. Oh my goodness. I just can't. I just can't. So here it is again. Is that a chapstick? Yeah, that's like a lipstick that she's putting away. Someone noticed that there were 3 glasses of water, it seems. So they were saying maybe Marcus is the one that's filming it. Do you think that actually that just I'm wondering, do you guys think Marcus filmed this? And if Marcus filmed it, was he given an instruction to make Megan the center, or did he just voluntarily put Megan center? Yes, the video is so fake. It's so fake. A lot of people are saying the video isn't real. And I had posted, so when I posted this one, I saw a lot of people saying, that's AI, that's AI. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I know that it looks like there's a line of delineation, and that's because I cropped and put two videos together, and I should have been more clear about that. But I realize now that's what people are asking. Is the actual footage, is this AI? Because a lot of people are like, Harry has a lot of hair. And I wonder now what Harry's reading is the speech that he's gonna give when they go on stage. And what odd behavior. If this is before they go on stage, how much this contrasts with him not introducing Megan on stage. Pinky says it looks like AI because they look happy. Yeah, so this I can see that too. It's really weird that Harry clearly he couldn't even look at her while they were on the carpet. And he also didn't introduce her when he went up to give his speech and it was her turn. He always seems to introduce her. It's very similar to similar behavior also to the Kevin Costner incident where Megan came up to him. I need to do a video about this where Megan came up to him and Harry looked at her and he said, "Hi, hi, 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 hi." He was dismissive. He said it like that, in my opinion, because he was like, "Okay, move it along. I need to get on this." A lot of people are saying, "Yeah, it looks like it's an AI video. It must be fake." Harry smiling, Steve says. Lizzie says it looks performative. Absolutely. I also did a clip zooming in on Megan, and actually, look, she will look at the camera. Did you see that? It's a split second, and the black and white hides it. Here we go. Look, she looks to make sure that is it recording? Did you get my good side? Am I laughing good enough? It's such a fake laugh too, like it's just in the muscles. Okay, everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that live stream clip, and I hope that it inspires you to join us on a live stream soon. We have such a good time. We actually ended that live stream with coming up with different awareness days or celebratory days that Megan could theoretically hijack and how she could do that. So it was a good time, and I'm going to leave the link to the live stream in the description of this video if you want to go check out all of the creative answers that people gave. So now I want to dig into a little bit deeper and give a little bit more explanation why this video, this clip, the entire messaging just didn't sit well with me. The first one right off the bat is this tone message mismatch. The caption says World Mental Health Day or Happy World Mental Health Day, but the tone is romantic. It is supposed to look a little glamorous, I would say, and it's self focused. There's soft lighting, there's laughter, and there's curated, effortless vibe. But none of it connects to mental health awareness or empathy. What Will says when we're watching it is that something's off, even if we can't put words to it right away. It's like when someone uses the language of compassion, but the energy says, "Look at me." That emotional disconnect is what immediately hooks the audience. It's this subconscious feeling that this isn't about awareness and it's about image. Now let's look at the composition itself. Megan, as usual, is center frame. She's brightly lit. She's laughing. And Harry is literally blurred in the background. And towards the end, he's not even really in frame. This visual hierarchy isn't accidental and it tells us a story. The camera positions her as the focal point, both symbolically and psychologically. Even in a post about mental health, she's the visual center, the star of the message. This kind of framing subtly reinforces her control of the narrative. It's not just what she's saying, it's about how she wants to be seen while saying it. It's very similar to the post that she made about her daughter running around on National Daughters Day. Was it National Daughters Day? I don't remember. But I have just posted it right before this video. It's the video right before this video. And it's really interesting that Megan did the same thing 2 days in a row for two different causes. It's like we were saying earlier in the video, this is really the hijacking of a cause, putting herself at the center of it, even if it really may not be appropriate to do so. There is a psychological dissonance also that we're seeing here. And this is I think, one of the roots of the problem. This is where the contradiction deepens because Harry and Meghan often talk about trauma, empathy, awareness, yet they're here showcasing perfection. And by they, I would say Meghan, because we don't know how involved Harry is in Meghan's Instagram account, but Meghan is trying to curate this perfection. She's trying to look like she's calm instead of showing genuine vulnerability. That mismatch between message and presentation creates psychological dissonance. The mind can't align the mental health theme with the imagery of romantic bliss. This is where viewers start thinking, wait, is this really about awareness or is it about impression management? That moment of questioning is where you shift from surface commentary to psychology, from aesthetics to motive. When you zoom out, the irony becomes clearer. World Mental Health Day isn't about personal branding, it's about global empathy, awareness, and collective care. But this kind of post flips the focus inward. Instead of starting a conversation about mental health, it reinforces a polished public image of happiness and stability. The problem isn't simply tone deafness, it's how celebrity culture turns awareness days into personal spotlights. And that's what makes the entire message feel hollow because the empathy becomes aesthetic and it's not emotional. And here is the deepest layer of them all. This isn't about promoting mental health. It's about controlling, centering, and emotional inversion. What looks like lighthearted positivity is actually a form of image containment. It keeps the focus where she wants it, on her grace, on her calmness, on her supposed balance, rather than the messy reality that awareness days are meant to highlight. And might I mention that from her own mouth, she has had mental health difficulties. So, to really treat this important day that you would think would mean a lot more to her than what she's showing, it just doesn't make sense. This is the perfect example of how narcissistic framing can rebrand empathy as self promotion. Even when something that looks sweet or inspiring can reveal an underlying need to control perception. I want to get into now the three narcissistic or manipulative traits I see with this post. And with each one of these, I'm going to give you examples of how you may have experienced it in your own life. There's emotional inversion. This is when a narcissist uses emotional displays like laughter, calmness, tears, or cheerfulness, not to express genuine feelings, but to control the tone of the situation and others' emotional responses. They flip the emotional script. Instead of being honest about discomfort or conflict, they perform the opposite emotion to gain control. And how does this feel for you? You start doubting your own read on the room. In romance, you express hurt, and instead of empathy, your partner laughs it off. You're so dramatic, babe. And suddenly you start feeling like your pain is silly. In friendship, you bring up a boundary and they turn it into a joke. Everyone laughs and you back down, and now they've dodged accountability. In family, it's a parent who says, "Oh, I guess I'm a terrible mom then." And they say it with a chuckle. It's humor masking guilt manipulation. And professionally, this could be a boss that gets called out for inappropriate comments and responds with exaggerated charm. They say, "Oh, lighten up. We're a team here." This leads to the tension shifting away from their behavior and onto what they call your sensitivity in quotation marks. The pattern takeaway is they use laughter, calm, or charm to invert vulnerability and silence your discomfort. The next one is dominance and decentering of others. This is when someone keeps the spotlight conversationally, emotionally, or visually, no matter what the topic is supposed to be. Even when they celebrate you, you end up supporting their image, and it begins to feel that you are invisible in your own story. In romance, it could be that on your birthday, your partner posts 10 photos of themselves and the captions always redirect back to them. You're barely visible in the post or in the relationship. In friendship, it could be that you confide in a friend and 30 seconds later, it's about their breakup, their pain, their ex. They hijack the empathy space. In family, it's a sibling who congratulates you at a family dinner but that immediately adds, of course, I've been saying for years that we're all talented in this family. And professionally, you could be completing a major project and your boss publicly thanks themselves for mentoring you so well. The pattern takeaway here is that even your wins and struggles are used to reinforce their centrality. And the final one is that there's performative warmth, or it could be seen as public love bombing. This is when affection, praise, or kindness is strategically displayed in public to manage how others see the narcissist, not to nurture genuine connection. It leaves you feeling confused because they seem loving when others are watching, but cold or dismissive in private. In romance, it could be that after an argument, they post a gushy, "You're my everything" story online before ever apologizing to you privately. In friendship, they ignore your texts for weeks, But the minute you're around mutual friends, they hug you and say, "This girl is my soul sister." In family, it's a parent who criticizes you constantly, then boasts about your accomplishments on Facebook, taking credit for your resilience. And professionally, it's a toxic coworker who undermines you privately but praises you in front of leadership meetings to appear like a team player. The pattern takeaway here is that public affection is used as reputation management. It's not love, it's leverage. Let's close this video out with the top 3 most essential tips for people that are in situations like these. The first is to rebuild a sense of self outside the relationship. A narcissist slowly erodes your individuality, your opinions, your social circle, even your emotional language start to orbit around them. When we bring this back to Harry, his public identity, once rooted in service and military work, became centered on her projects, her voice, and her message. The real world pattern is that you start dressing, thinking, and even speaking like them. You forget what you like because their preferences become the rule book. And this is actually something that Harry's friends have said. He began to start talking and speaking and thinking like her early on in their relationship. And here are some things you could do. Reconnect with pre relationship activities and people who make you feel grounded. Start small: music, hobbies, a therapist, or an old friend who knows your baseline self. Remember, independence isn't disloyalty, it's recovery. And here's an affirmation you can use: I exist outside this dynamic. The second is stop explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Narcissists don't argue to understand, they argue to exhaust. Harry often looks like he's constantly justifying, defending, or reframing to validate her narrative. In the real world, they twist your words, laugh at your logic, or play victim until you give up, and they call that the resolution. And here are some things you can do. Don't get pulled into circular conversations. Focus on what you know to be true instead of trying to prove it. Ask yourself after every disagreement, did I communicate to be heard or just to survive? And here's an affirmation: my perspective doesn't need their permission. And finally, don't mistake loyalty for love. This is the most painful one because victims of narcissistic control are often praised for being loyal when what they're really doing is sacrificing themselves to keep the peace. Harry's unwavering public defense of Meghan, even when it isolates him from family, mirrors this pattern perfectly. In the real world, you think that endurance equals devotion, but what's actually happening is that you are being majorly mistreated. And here are some things you can do. Redefine loyalty. It's not about silence, it's about truth. Ask yourself, if I stop protecting their image, would they still love me? Remember, love that requires you to shrink is not love, it's control disguised as devotion. And let's end with this affirmation: love shouldn't demand my disappearance. I'm curious to know what you all think about this. This ended up being a little bit longer of a video than I thought it would be, but I think there's a wealth of information in it. And, these things that Megan does really are teachable moments. Even the things that we think are minor, it's the little things that add up that summarize what it's like to be in these types of relationships. So let me know what your thoughts are about this in the comments, and if you feel comfortable sharing, please do so. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.